Did not mean to quit. 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 Kami kata. Feminine. 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 Did not mean to quit. Did not mean to quit. Kami kata. Kandelenge umeti, kekeko. Kandelenge umeti, kama kumulapa. Kandelenge umeti, kama kulipa. Unapiga sifa, au mkemia. Kamia, oh kamia, misana ni koma. Sure. If you want if you're not satisfied, They don't mean to quit, they don't mean to quit. They don't mean to quit, they don't mean to quit. They don't mean to quit, they don't mean to quit. They don't mean to quit, they don't mean to quit. They don't mean to quit, they don't.
Right, Fambulemona, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and I bring greetings to you from the then and now. Obviously, me they talk now, host and presenter Prince Emil Chroma. They talk to now this evening, this afternoon, this morning, depending on wherever in the world you may be. The situation is serious. It's not a joke. And what we try to say here is there's a lot going on. There is really a lot going on, Fambulem. And I mean, just want to bring this to our attention. First of all, we forget Kutubu Koma. And Kutubu Koma, if you listen, my apologies. Okay, because the configuration just don't go wrong at the very last minute. Mr. Mohammed Kamara, aka Supermed, if you listen, my apologies because again things don't go wrong. Just before we go live again, we talk, and you obviously know what's going on at the background. And Mr. Victor Spain, if you listen, my apologies again because things just don't go wrong. And every one of you understand exactly what they go on at the background. Okay, so I want to use this occasion for extend some really sincere apologies to every one of you. Okay, all is not lost because at a given date, which will be, I will announce and soon anyway. It either will be Sunday or before Sunday. If it not be before Sunday, it definitely will be Sunday because I therefore bring this team on. The reason behind this team is like this team, they are somehow special in terms of what they represent. Diametrically, they oppose to each other. So imagine like almost in a rectangular state, the three positions they're opposed to each other. So you can just imagine how interesting this will have been. Unfortunately, it was not to be. So we can't continue for belabor on that. We get for move on. Family, when I know say we did now a crossroad now we country. And this is not new, by the way. The crossroad we talk about is not new, by the way. Okay? We've been through many crossroads. Now the history of we, depending on who you are, where you are, when you became conscious or aware. Some people then go say young, and some people then go say old. And I'll give you a typical example where people then go say, but in we 54-year or whatever history you want to call them, who are we? Who are we? What we don't achieve? While some others then they say, by the way, can we please share this video? This is not what I expected in any respect. And to those who were meant to appear tonight, all is not lost. My apologies in the first place, because all the preparation we would make, all the consultation in the background, it really not happen. Notwithstanding, it's not a problem. We go march on. Ladies and gentlemen, we're at a critical juncture now, the history of the country. I use the word history, although I've been trying for shy away from them, because waiting to happen so, it's not really new. It's really not new. On during independence, after independence, shortly after independence, during the one-party state, up to the point where we are. And this is critical, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So it's not really new. But we're then at the crossroad of a society in which, at this particular point in time, I can say to you, fellow Sierra Leoneans, that if we are not careful, it's a make or break situation. I repeat, it's a make or break situation. Why do I say this? It's simple. There is a process unfolding in the country in which one side is very, very enthusiastic about carrying out this process, and then another side is not very enthusiastic about the process. Of course, it sounds like, say, one side, they try to vilify the other side, and listen to the language that I speak tonight. I'll say this again because sometimes, you get people that when they come back to you, and long before they listen to the entire story, they begin for the point fingers. And this is unfair. We don't know where we are. Now, it makes it good for them we listen. It's good for them we listen. Because when some people and they talk, then they talk in the interest of the state. When some people and they talk, then they talk on the basis of partisanship. When some people and they talk, then they talk in terms of the unfortunate, the downtrodden, the disadvantaged. So it's good for let we listen. Let we not just take advantage as somebody say one thing, then we don't conclude, we don't wrap up the book. That would be so unfair. The emphasis here today, or the point here in time, is waiting to go on at the country is really serious. Really serious in the sense, like I said earlier on, you get the technique. Sierra Leoneans, where do we find that fine line between X and Y in an indeterminate equation? Well, then we find a balance. I think now the physicists they say the equilibrium, the state of rest for we their country right in the middle, so that we go able to forge a path as a people. Did you hear me, Sierra Leoneans? As a people, A as in capital A people. Not as a people divided between left and right, between ideology, but as a people, you're united in one common goal under the constitution and the laws of the country, that we try to find common ground for let this country become a wholesome country, a wholesome functioning state, so that there will be benefit, maximum benefits, probably not by us as per virtue of our ages, but those that we leave behind, so that we legacy, when it shall be written or said, at least we go stand out, say we were not a useless generation. This now bring back the report to every one of we that we stand at a crossroad for make a decision now as I speak, that either you try to find a balance as to waiting to go on. And let me touch on waiting to go on 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. First of all, waiting to go on is not strange to any of us. The government at this particular point in time, retired brigadier, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, the current governor, the current president, the current head of state of the country, has embarked on a project which by many respects should be good for the country. It stands for the very things they were I talk of earlier on, right now the middle, for unite Sierra Leoneans them, for say never again that this thing should happen. And before I go any further, I just want to re-emphasize, potentially paraphrase some of the precedent in what them. War on corruption and poverty. This is not the war where the president don't launch, okay, on poverty and corruption, which is a noble cause. And when the international community they hear about this, here we go, our first caller on the line. Just break me from the stride. Hello, caller. Will you state your name and where you're calling from, please?
This is Mohamed Tamara, commonly known as Superman. I'm calling from United Kingdom.
All right. What have you got to say, Mr. Kamara?
Well, I was very shocked the way this commission of inquiry has been instituted. As we all know, it contravenes in so many areas our constitution, 1991 Constitution of Sierra Leone, and makes so much assumption already. It seems there's no more a need to be proven not guilty until proven guilty or something. There's no, because the president himself, the chief justice, they've all said all the people, all the former ministers are guilty already. So, are we expecting any justice from this commission of inquiry? Why is there no rules of evidence applied? Because we all know these courts, because it can give fixed penalty and other things, so it's equivalent to an high court in Sierra Leone. And according to section 150 of the Sierra Leone Constitution, it clearly stated that the rules of court of a commission of inquiry like this should be set by the rules of a court committee. So why is this one different? And there are many, many other things that we Sierra Leoneans should be awoken to. All of us, we don't disagree with the commission of inquiry. All what people are asking, I think what the APC is asking for is for it to be free and fair.
Just before Mr. Kamara, before we go to waiting the APC they asked for, obviously, you mentioned, about some unfairness, okay? And this has been going on for quite a while. But I just want jog your memory. This is why I missed the program so much that we were supposed to hold in the background. Ladies and gentlemen, just in case you're not aware, the man speaking was meant to be one of the guests on the show tonight. He's got a very strong position, and most people who know him knows his position where he is or where he stands. Another person who was meant to appear on the program tonight is Mr. Kutubu Koroma, who most of you will also know where he stands and what he says. And then Mr. Victor Spain. Mr. Victor Spain, I know you're greeting me in the panel. I want to say greetings to you, and at the same time, apologize to you because all of the effort that we made in the background has come to naught. Asanatu Wunde, first time I believe that name, wonderful name Wunde. Hello there. How you doing, Mr. Kamara? Back to you quickly. The point that you just raised, I just want to draw your attention because these are the points that I wanted to raise tonight. The Attorney General, whom most people say doesn't speak, was very, very outspoken in the last 48 hours, yes, in the sense that something that you just said, she addressed, she took it head on, which is, I wish Mr. Kutubu will be here because he speaks about this a lot. That several commissions of inquiry have been held under existing legislation to date, which are self-regulatory, okay, including the Beckles-Davis. The reason why I mentioned Kutubu, because he speaks from a historical perspective. The history of Beckles-Davis, Justice Forrester, Al-Ghali, and the Wilson, all of these people had commissions of their own. None of the issues that we raise today were ever raised then. Why are these issues, if you're in a position to answer this, Mr.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that, Prince. I want to remind you that during those commission of inquiry, there was a different constitution. Now we are using the 1991 Constitution. You see, so there are different constitutions. They must have different rules by them. But now the rules we have, first of all, the setting of this, the instruments that set this commission of inquiry. It's contained section 150 of the Sierra Leone Constitution.
You are not insinuating by any chance that the Honorable Attorney General of the country, the Honorable Madam, is mistaken when she made the case that prior to now, even though what you're saying, that the 1991 Constitution never existed then, what is the difference therefore then, as opposed to now, that the Honorable Attorney General of the nation of Sierra Leone does not understand between the then and the now?
Well, definitely, you can see from the statements from the Attorney General and also the Chief Justice and all those other people that they become very partisan, because the Bar Association, the Sierra Leone Bar Association, also believes that this particular instrument that formed this Constitution of Commission of Inquiry contravened the 1991 Constitution. So these are the Bar Association. These are they represent all. They deal with the law every day. They practice the law every day in the country. And it is not only, it is clearly stated in the Constitution that a commission of inquiry should, any commission of inquiry set should be, the rules of that committee and regulation of that committee should be set by the rules of court committee.
Mr. Kamara, I know you to be a very eloquent speaker. I must mention that in this conversation, you sort of, you seem to be out of depth, out of width, as usual. This is untypical of you. But let me.
No, not at all. I wasn't prepared. I was.
Okay. Well, you've just answered you've just concurred with what I'm saying, because this is not typically you. But let me bring you back to the Honorable Attorney General, Mr. Kamara, in terms of what you just said earlier on. She actually went on to condemn the Bar Association of the Republic of Sierra Leone, charged them, asked them, why did the Bar Association, I'm paraphrasing what the Madam Attorney General said, why did the Bar Association not take steps to have the rules of a court committee in which they represent as members, find rules for operations of those instruments or this particular instruments that we are talking about? But of course, when she mentioned that or asked the question, it was more rhetorical because she had the answer, and the answer was no. So I pose the same question to you. Why was the Honorable Bar Committee of the Republic of Sierra Leone not find, the steps to have the rules of court committee, which is suddenly the bone of contention in this commission of inquiry?
Well, that on itself clearly shows that these people are partisan. This particular case, the Bar Association of Sierra Leone has taken the case to the Supreme Court, and the Chief Justice is the Chief Judge of the Supreme Court of Sierra Leone. For them to start making judgments in a pending case, a pending trial that the Bar Association of Sierra Leone has taken to the Supreme Court in itself shows massive biasness. Because what hope do the Bar Association get if the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Sierra Leone is passing judgment already about a case that is pending in the Supreme Court of Sierra Leone? You see, this is what I'm saying here. You can clearly see most of them are partisan. They're like the refs and a football match. They play and ref the football match at the same time, because they're saying already these people are guilty. So we need to take our money from them. We'll not put them in prison. The president himself has said that a few times. So what's the purpose? Why will the APC minister subject themselves to short an inquiry? Rather, the rules of evidence does not apply. But the court has the mandate to sentences that will really impede those people who go in front of that commission of inquiry, like banning them, like taking their properties and stuff like that. And that as well is key, because if the court has such mandate, that means the court is equivalent to an high court in Sierra Leone, according to the Constitution of Sierra Leone. And if a court that is equivalent to an high court in Sierra Leone, then the rules of evidence have to apply.
Okay. For the benefit of time, I'm going to hold you there. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, because some people have just signed on the forum, they will have expected to see something else. And I promise you, I really, really, from the depth of my heart, promise you that what we said earlier on before this broadcast, I'm going to make it happen. We are going to bring Kutubu. Kutubu Koroma was so relevant to this conversation here tonight. And the man speaking now is equally relevant to this conversation tonight. Mr. Victor Spain, I know you're somewhere in the panel, on the panel. I will expect you at some point to make some contribution. So, Mr. Kamara, don't take this as a runaway. I want to congratulate and call on Mr. Alpha Umaru bin Ibrahim Barry, who is watching all the way from New York. My brother, welcome to the program. Sister Ami Sila, welcome to the program as well. Mr. Kamara.
Yes, sir.
You are a man who appears to be versed with the Constitution, the 1991 Constitution. Maybe not in its entirety because it's a legal document. Not sure whether you're a lawyer, but in your verbatims that you come up with on a weekly basis, you do mention the Constitution and you speak so eloquently about the Constitution. Most of what you've spoken of surrounds instrument 64, 65, 67 apart from the Constitution. Would you know, I'm asking you this, it's a direct question, 64, 65, 67 of the 1991 Constitution.
No, those
not
are
in its entirety.
yes.
There are instruments here Are you familiar with these instruments, 64, 65, 67?
Yes, I am very familiar.
Okay,
even I want
good,
to for you.
good. There's a qualifying language there. I am very familiar. Thank you for that. The reason why I bring it up is the honorable Madam Attorney General did mention these instruments, that it is disingenuous for us to base any legal argument in respect of instrument 64, 65, 67 in terms of the context of the present conversation. What's your take?
Yes, well, the instruments that the president sent to the parliament to be approved to set up this commission of inquiry, they contradict the constitution of Sierra Leone. And if any laws contradict or contravene the constitution of Sierra Leone, then that law becomes null and void, because the supreme law of the land in Sierra Leone is the 1991 constitution. Nothing is above the 1991 constitution. So that was the big mistake this SFPP government made, because they should have checked that those laws, those instruments are not, does not contravene the 1991 constitution. And you can clearly see Section 6.1 of the Constitutional Instrument 6.4, 6.5, 6.7, all of them contravene section 150 of the Sierra Leone Constitution. You see, because this allows this Commission of Inquiry Court to adapt itself in a manner that they can take different procedures and rules to punish anybody whom they deem guilty, but yet still they don't want to subject themselves to the rules of evidence. That makes them equivalent to high court in Sierra Leone. But yet,
when you say they don't want to subject themselves to the rule of evidence, who are you referring to, please?
The Commission of Inquiry Court is set up because Section 6.2 of that constitutional instrument said this court shall not be bound by rules of evidence in a civil or a criminal proceedings. You see?
Yeah, but Mr. Kamara, when the president goes on, the president's opening salvo, the war on corruption and poverty, the president went on to affirm that a peaceful democratic war on corruption is unstoppable, unmistakable, and winnable. I repeat, unstoppable, unmistakable, and winnable. Would you agree with the president when the president made those pronouncements?
Yes, definitely. We are not against the Commission of Inquiry to fight corruption. All what we're saying, you cannot fight corruption with corruption. You cannot say
when you say you cannot fight corruption with corruption, what exactly does that mean?
Yes, because if you are contravening the laws of the land to fight corruption, that on itself is corruption, because the laws of the land are governed by the 1991 Constitution. If you don't go by those particular laws, then that's corruption in itself. You see? So all what people are asking for, we're all for the corruption fight. We just want it to be free and fair. Go by the laws. Allow the rules of evidence to apply.
Mr. Kamara, the head of the law in the country has said, and she posed a challenge when she spoke with passion. She spoke deeply with emotion. And I'm referring to the Attorney General, okay?
Yes.
She challenged everyone to identify one commission. Remember that we've had many commissions before in the past. This is where Kutubu again was relevant. The how do you call him? What are some of the past, the Justice Showers Commission, the Bankole Thomas Commission? This is what I'm trying to refer to. So we've had many commissions.
That's the thing as well again, we'll go again, Prince, for the Prince. The thing is, they were operating under a different constitution.
Okay.
Now, the 2008, President Koma of himself set a commission of inquiry into the past SLPP government. And don't forget, the last paragraph of the SLPP government's response to that inquiry was that they're not going to succumb themselves to a witch hunt. SLPP government, SLPP party 2008 said exactly the same.
Yeah, but Mr. Kamara, in terms of timeline, which you've just highlighted, let me just draw your attention to a commission of inquiry under Justice Bankole Thompson, not too far away from the last time that we spoke, which was in 2009, Constitutional Instrument number 1 in 2009. That never had these rules of evidence that you're talking about. So the rules of evidence was not somewhat
because that
during
constitution
colonial
never
times.
took up. Because that commission of inquiry never took up. Because the previous government under former President Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma thought it didn't fit that the peace and security of the country is more paramount. So to maintain the peace and security of the country, that commission was abandoned. It never took up because SLPP government, SLPP party back then said they're not going to succumb, they're not going to subject their members to that particular commission.
They're not going to succumb their members to that particular commission.
They're not going to submit themselves to that particular commission.
Are there any regrets on the part of the previous government that they could have done what the Mada Bio government is doing now? Is that what all this force is all about? That they could have done it, they didn't do it. Now, it's been done to them. They're not going to accept it, face down.
No, not at all, not at all. All what they're asking for, the foreign ministers are confident in themselves. All what they're asking for is, we want free and fair commission. A free and fair commission is what the country needs because we want to fight corruption. I think many people in Israel want to fight corruption. They just want it to be a free and fair, honest corruption fight. They don't want any corruption that is just a witch hunt, that is just it's being used as a tool to intimidate or harass opposition party members. Don't forget, this according to the GTT report, it recommended that all ministers who served under the Koroma government from 2007 to 2018, now we see some of the ministers who served under that government are working for this as ministers in this government. Just imagine.
Okay, Mr. Kamara.
Yes.
It's obvious that people will always try to find a point, something, to point to. And I'm not going to deny that, in all likelihood that this is happening. But it is the government of the day that decides, isn't it?
No, it's not the government of the day that decides. It's the law that decides.
Of course, you are absolutely right. But I'm talking about within the jurisdiction of the law. It's the government that makes the decision. They're not making the decision outside of the law, by the way.
The government made the decision that all ministers, they didn't say Minister Amy, commissioner be. They said all the Roma government should face this commission of they are all criminals. They said all the ministers who served under the Roma government are criminals. But yet still we see those ministers, the Minister of Trade serve under the Roma government, the Minister of Land serve under the Roma government, and they're serving in this government. So if they believe those people are criminals, how comes are they employing them now to serve in their government? So this is what I'm telling you, this is selective justice. It's not proper justice. This government is not serious about fighting corruption. We can see the instances. Just recently, the president himself appointed a commissioner for the Southern Province, which according to Section 32 of the Constitution allowed. He said the president shall appoint a commissioner in consultation with the other political parties.
The accusation that you've just made against the current leadership under retired Brigadier His Excellency Mada Bio will not go down well with the many, because it's on record as recently as when he commissioned the Commission of Inquiry, saying that fraudulent, I'm paraphrasing exactly what the president said, that fraudulent conversion, occupants of public offices who stole the people's money, they did not do this in behalf of their tribe, because I'm repeating this because there have been consistent accusations that people are being targeted. The All People's Congress is being discriminated against. People from the northern end of the country are being, sidelined, are being picked on. But the president went on to say that when people steal money, they don't do so on behalf of their tribe or region. It's out of selfishness. They do it out of individualism. Would you agree?
No, but I'm saying, nobody is saying they steal somebody. The people who steal this money, a court of law has to approve that this money is stolen or somebody steal money.
So therefore, there's an accusation now. There is an accusation now, Mr. Kamara. There's an accusation. It's just because of the benefit of the time. I don't mean to offend, what you say, because you need to develop the argument. But the answers just need to be short put. You cannot agree with the president when the president said that all those who stole money or stand accused of stealing money, because everybody is innocent until proven guilty. That's legal jurisprudence. We all know this. But some people are taking it for granted that they are already guilty because the president have said so. So therefore they are fighting tooth and nail.
So you see, the president himself has come for my justice because he himself is found the people guilty before the court can find them guilty. So what I'm saying here is the GTT report itself said, the GTT report is the first report that started dividing the people in the country. The GTT report said that most of the people who were working under the Roma government were northerners and depriving southeasterners people from those jobs. So the GTT report of itself was the first to start using those sort of language. But what I'm saying here is, my brother Prince, if this government is serious about fighting corruption, corruption is not only about stealing money. It's about the institution of governance. Like, for instance, the commissioners, the electoral commissioners, it's a very serious institution. If you start undermining those institutions, then that is massive corruption. Because what we can see is it leads to political disputes, it leads to election disputes, so many issues. That has to put the stability of the state can be affected when those institutions, the credibility of those institutions is undermined. And we've seen it quite clearly recently. The president himself appointed a commissioner for the Southern Province without no consultation whatsoever. You see, if you start being
Mr. Kamara, before we start going, start veering off, the track. Committee or the Truth and Reconciliation report did say that corruption was a major factor in our civil war. Would you agree with that statement?
Yes, it did say that, yes.
Okay. No, it did say that, and you agree with that, are two different things. I'm asking you a direct and straightforward question. The Truth and Reconciliation report.
I agree with that.
Sorry, sir?
I agree with that, yes.
You agree with that. So therefore, I'm sure you will agree that corruption is part of the fabric of our society.
Yes, definitely. Corruption is a cancer in our society.
And therefore, if corruption is a part and parcel of our society, it doesn't matter who fights it, somebody has to take the mantle to fight corruption so that those who are
Absolutely,
disadvantaged in the society.
absolutely, Brother Chris. Somebody has to fight corruption.
So, but do you have a problem? Do you have a problem with those who are propagating the fight against corruption at this present moment?
I don't have a problem with the people propagating the fight against corruption. What I have a problem with is the process they are dealing with. All what we want a fair and honest and just fight. It has to be honest. You cannot fight dishonesty with dishonesty. Then there is no honesty. So if there is corruption,
so when you say fight dishonesty with dishonesty, you are not in any shape, form, sense accusing the current leadership of being a dishonest bunch.
Well, what I'm trying to say here, I'm not saying they're dishonest. What I'm trying to say here, they're not fighting this corruption honestly, because they have, if they were fighting it honestly, they should just let the rules apply, the honest rules apply. So that anybody who is found guilty, the whole nation will be behind the court said, yes, you will be guilty. Because the rules of the honest rules apply. And the other thing is, you cannot prejudice a trial by going around saying all the people who are alleged to commit a crime, you as the president and the chief justice, these are the key people who take care of the justice in the country. And you yourself said, all these people that they've alleged to have done corruption, they are corrupt. You said it already, and the trial has not even started. Can you imagine no other person other than the president? Don't forget the president selected them judges. So he's putting those judges under a major special by saying already these people who have alleged to have committed corruption are guilty. So what's the purpose of the judge going to sit in the court again and try those people? They should just say to all of you.
Sorry, I didn't quite get that, Mr. Kamara. Did you at some point say that the president has already declared these people as being guilty?
Yes, I've heard this speech in Kolo. I've been not having this speech, I think, in Bo. When he said these people are guilty, we're not going to put them in prison, we're just going to take their money away from them.
All right, okay. In the past, yeah, go on, please, go on.
And the chief justice as well did the same thing yesterday again. So these people are guilty, these people they've stolen money, these people have stolen from the state. And this man is the chief judge in the Supreme Court. So what are your chances? If I am there in a game and a football match with you right there, they are playing a football match with you and I'm also the right. What are your chances for you to win that football match? If you're a Chelsea football team and I'm playing for Arsenal football team, the Arsenal football team has the referee on the side as well. What's the chance for Chelsea to win the match? There's no chance. So by the president himself saying these people are guilty already, when the trial hasn't started yet, I mean, it's compromised the trial. You cannot do that. No, this is not a person other than the president. He appointed these judges. He set up this commission of inquiry, and he's already said these people are guilty.
You're not by your statement, you're just out of humor. You're not implying in any sense that you are a fan of Tottenham or Manchester United, are you?
Not at all. I'm just giving a generic example here.
Okay.
What I'm saying here,
yeah.
We want corruption. I want to fight against corruption completely in that country. But we have to do it honestly. We have to do it fairly so that they will hold. The problem with corruption in our country is not about politicians, but about the institutions. If somebody who is not capable of doing a job, you put him at a particular job to do, that is massive corruption, because it's going to undermine the credibility of that job. It's going to undermine the functions of those jobs. You see, this is the same thing that happened with the president selecting an electoral commissioner for the southern region. Don't forget, this is very, very important, because when we have elections, these are the people who take care of these elections. And those elections are very important because they provide the stability, the peace and security, and they solidify the democracy of our country. If the president clearly stated in the Constitution, Section 32, saying that the president shall appoint a commissioner in consultation with other political parties, And all the political parties said he never consulted any one of them. And he went on and appointed a commissioner for the South. That in itself is massive corruption. Then how on earth this government turned around and said, we're coming to fight corruption? I want the Iranian people to open their eyes and see what's going on.
So the president, Mr. Kamara, the president said, and I want to draw your attention to this because this is really serious, okay? If those of us that watched the president in the last 2 days pronouncing the official commissioner of the corruption commission or corruption inquiry, those of us that watched the president made those pronouncements. If the body language is anything to go by and what he said on top of it, we know that he is determined, he's frustrated. That's what I take from there. He's frustrated, he's determined, and he said it all that it is going to happen. Are you worried in any sense? You know, even though we are talking about constitution.
No, I'm worried in the sense that I think this got a propensity. There's a propensity to create political instability in the country. Because let me tell you this, they said action speaks louder than voice. You know, it's not about what people say, look at what they do. That's the key here. What they do, what this government is doing. If this government wants to fight corruption, they have to set the example.
When you say set the example, what sort of example are you talking about in it?
I'm giving a typical example. By the president going around and appointing a commissioner, electoral commissioner for the South. That's for the whole Southern region, without going through the due process. It doesn't follow the due process. That is a big issue. And that has the propensity to create instability in the country. Because these people, this is one of the most key institutions in the country. They conduct elections.
Mr. Kamara, you are familiar with the Constitution. Are you familiar with Section 150 of the 1991 Constitution?
Yes.
In terms of the context of the discussion right now.
Yes.
Will you, for the benefit of the general public, let us know where does Article 150 of the 1991 Constitution stand as we speak, in terms of the context where we speak from?
Well, that's the thing. Let me say, Section 6.1 of the constitutional instrument that the President sent to Parliament of 64, 65, 67, all of them contravene Section 150 of the Sierra Leone Constitution. Because Section 150 of the Sierra Leone Constitution said the rules of court committee makes rules and regulation for a commission of inquiry. So the rules of court committee makes rules and regulation for a commission of inquiry. So, but in this case, the president and his team make rules on their own as they go along. You see, so because they clearly stated in Section 6.2 that the constitutional instrument stated that this constitutional instrument is not bound by the rules of evidence in a civil or a criminal proceedings. And this is the key. It's not bound. It's stated gradually in the instrument the president sent to the parliament. That's why the Bar Association said if this instrument clash with the Constitution of Sierra Leone, automatically this instrument will become null and void because the Constitution of Sierra Leone is the supreme law of the land. No other law. The president cannot make any other law that is above the Constitution of Sierra Leone. No other law. If any law clashes with the Constitution, that law became null and void. So this is the problem here. This is why this is a bad situation of Sierra Leone. You know, people have to understand that these are not just people. This is not just one lawyer. This is not just one. This is a bad situation. And trust me, the Attorney General Minister of Justice is appointed by the President. Don't forget that, Brother Prince. He is appointed by the President. So there is the chances there of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice becoming partisan because he's appointed. Okay. We know this President has already sacked the first Attorney General and Minister of Justice. And that Attorney General and Minister of Justice came out recently and he said, this particular commission of inquiry does not meet the criteria of the Constitution.
Yeah, but that could be out of malice, Mr. Kamara. That could be out of malice. He sat down for many months. So we're not just going to
accept
that at face value. I want to move on. I want to ask you one final question, okay? Because there's a general agreement, and I will give you time for you to break all of that down. There's a general agreement that the country is in a state of corruption. The corruption doesn't belong to one side, one party, one government, or the rest of it. It's something that has been existing in our nation. And so therefore, there's a consensus on the part of every true meaning Sierra Leonean to bring this, not to an end, but to mitigate, corruption. Because corruption in itself, it's never going to end. Politicians, as a matter of fact, do not speak the truth. The past did not speak the truth, neither does the present speaks the truth. But they try to outmaneuver each other. And today, this government has got the upper hand. And the other side might feel so aggrieved that we could have done what they're doing now. But unfortunately, they did not. No, this is my question to you. The president said the war on corruption and poverty. And I want for you to imagine, and I'm sure you will have watched the president make this delivery. I want you to imagine his body language, his facial language, the intonation of his voice, every nuance, okay? He affirmed that peaceful democratic war on corruption is unstoppable, I'm repeating, and quoting him directly. It's unstoppable, unmistakable, and winnable. Do you agree, and where are you with all what I've just said?
No, well, let me go around. Let me clarify this question to you. First of all, I don't agree what the president does. I don't know. I know he's not saying it genuinely. It's not genuinely trying to fight corruption. Let's take this for instance. The president just recently renewed the president where his house is in Cuba, a private road that leads to his house. This road is not a public road, it's a private road. The government allocated over $1 million to do that road.
Mr. Kamara, I will expect more. This is I didn't mean to, but you've just diverted me elsewhere. But the fact here is, this is the sitting president. This is the sitting president. Is that the shot you're going to throw at him? That he lives somewhere and the road is being made and funds are being diverted from the coffers, onto the roads that is being made, that other people are going to benefit from. Yes, he lives there, but all the people that live there are going to benefit from. I don't want to be making a case for the president, but I want a case when it is made.
No, I'm building the case here. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Now I'm saying to you, the reasons why I don't think this is a genuine fight against corruption. Because I always say action speaks louder than words. When you want a genuine fight against corruption, you don't pick one side. You yourself said corruption has been a problem in our country. So do you think it's only few politicians, let me say maybe 30 or 40 or 50 or 70, 80 politicians are responsible for the whole corruption in the land?
No, the answer, if you were looking for an answer, I will tell you directly no. And that borders on what I said before I gave you the floor, that none of them are truthful. The issue about politics is not about truth, because none of them are truthful. They just try to outmaneuver each other. And in this case, in as much as it sounds so inconvenient, the fact here stands that this government has outmaneuvered the APC government, and the APC government finds this difficult to accept because a case is being made like, well, we could have done it and we never did. Why would you? Why should you? How dare you?
That's what I'm saying to you. That's what I'm saying to you. They haven't outmaneuvered APC at all, because APC is going to abide by the Constitution. They're not going to abide by what somebody says or what the government says. They know whatever government takes over in Sierra Leone, the Constitution is above any other government. To work within that Constitution, as far as that Constitution is the law of the land. So that government has to follow that Constitution. And if the government wants to follow the Constitution, APC are happy to go ahead with it.
So are you going to be on the sideline now and suddenly dictating to government as to how you want to see the government run? as an opposition.
No, they're not dictating to the government. That is the rules of the land, Brother Prince. There is injustice in that country, isn't it? There's rule of law. So if this government think there shouldn't be no rule of law, there shouldn't be no justice, then nobody should bother anymore.
All right, Mr.
This government has to go with the rules of the land. He has to go with justice according to the Constitution of Sierra Leone. That's what the APC party is saying.
All right, Mr.
They will subject themselves to the justice of the Republic of Sierra Leone. If that justice found them guilty, they are happy to go with it. But they are not going to subject themselves to a justice set up by the president on his own and his team. No, because the Constitution is bigger than the president. The Constitution.
So I take it, Mr. Kamara, that there's going to be a long, drawn-out battle within the legal system in the Supreme Court of Sierra Leone. This is a final question to you. I want to see whether I can bring Kutubu in quickly before we close this program. First of all, before you go away, let me say how much I admire your temerity, your strength, your indefatigability, my friend. You are truly a giant. I must say this. Okay, a man stands on his position and is consistent. This is principle. You may not like it, but this is principle. Mr. Kamara, going forward, okay, after all what you've said, looking at the determination of the president, looking at the pronouncement of the president, that those who will oppose, who will stand, who will not honor the requirements, the request of the Corruption Commission or Corruption Inquiry, the full weight of the law will be thrown at them. Do you have any faith in terms of how you've been pursuing the process so far in defiance of what the government says that you're not going to honor? Because this was the position of the opposition, that you are not going to honor the requirements of the COI. Now, having listened to the president just barely 48 hours ago, okay, and the instrument itself going to come into being, into operation in about 5 days' time, probably 4, because one is already gone. Where do you stand, my friend, and where does the party, the mighty All People's Congress, stands?
Okay, I just want to remind the president, the open chapters of our Constitution, Chapter 2, Section 5, Subsection 2b say, peace, security, and welfare of the people of Sierra Leone shall be the responsibility of any government. So the government should take that particular lesson from the Constitution.
He's not violated that yet, has he?
Yeah, well, he is indirectly, because
also,
yes, because if he is threatening the opposition parties like this, trying to bring a kangaroo court that will reach on the opposition, then is creating political instability, and that has a propensity to weaken the peace and security of the people of Sierra Leone. So it's very, very important. It's very, very important for the administration and for the government to understand that the Constitution of Sierra Leone is supreme above any other laws in that country. That the APC party is not disagreeing with this commission of inquiry at all. All what the APC party is saying, that this commission of inquiry should be bound by the laws of Sierra Leone. It shouldn't be bound by any other laws or by any other acts that somebody sets up. But the laws of Sierra Leone, which are encoded in the 1991 Constitution of Sierra Leone. So we are urging the president. We are calling on the SFPP government. The please, SFPP government, we want to fight corruption. We want you to fight corruption. But please, do it honestly and just, and follow the rules of engagement according to the Constitution of Sierra Leone. I think that is the benefit for everybody, the benefit for the government, the benefit for the people of Sierra Leone. I think it will do a lot of good for everybody in that country. So the president should take it and just follow the rules. Why? If you haven't got anything to hide, if this is not a witch hunt, why would the rules of evidence not apply? That's simple. In any courts, even people who are tried for war crimes, people like Charles Taylor, for rape, mass killing and everything. People, you know, and the rules of evidence apply. So what about, why not in this instance? Why not in this instance? This is
all
very,
right,
very
Mr. Kamara. So I take it that the APC is going to fight this in the streets, in the courts, and whatever they've got, you know, here within their means, they're going to use it to fight this, you know, this battle because they find.
No, the APC is a law-abiding party. They're not going to fight it in the streets.
No. When I say fight it in the street, I don't think I mean anywhere near where probably you might be thinking. Sometimes when you are fighting a cause, okay, it's not only where people expect you to fight the cause. This battle might be fought at home. APC might try to make the argument in homes, okay, like trying to win the upper ground, the moral ground to people, trying to explain to them that this is not being fair to us, while at the same time drawing out battles in the court, in the Supreme Court. That's what I was trying to say. Not
okay,
like
yes, definitely they're going to do that. Definitely they're going to do that. I think majority of the people of Sierra Leone are with the APC party in this one. Majority of the people in Sierra Leone are with the APC party. They've seen what's going on here, and they realize this is not a true fight against corruption. So most of the people of Sierra Leone believe this is a witch hunt against the APC party, and they are supporting the APC party, and they're asking the APC party not to accept, not to subject their members to this particular kangaroo court. And I think the APC party is going to do likewise.
All right, Mr. Kamara, you are always a class act, my friend, and I won't hesitate to say in the general public, as the entire world watches, that you are a true asset, you know, to your party. You are a true loyalist to your party, and you are an eloquent speaker. I will call on you again, and to everybody watching this program, Mr. Mohammed Kamara, Mr. Kutubu Koroma, and Mr. Victor Spain, and probably another SLPP strongman are definitely going to be on this channel this coming Sunday, and I will make the announcement as when we verify it. Mr. Kamara, thank you very much, sir, for your time.
Thank you very much.
And I hope to talk to you again.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you to all your video listeners as well.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're just saying that the country is at a crossroad once again. We've been at a crossroad many a times. But at this point in time, in the history again of our young democracy, we equally at a crossroad. This time, a president in power who is determined to fight corruption. Okay? Now we are going to speak to our next guest. All right? We've got a caller. Hello, caller. Will you state your name and where you're calling from, please?
I mean, don't give me the treat today.
Kutubu, this is just formal. You are live. You are live.
What? I don't see you. I've been not registered.
No. Kutubu, let's leave that alone. I'm just making you to understand that we are live. We missed that program. I've already apologized to the audience because for some reason it didn't work out. So I've already apologized. But right now, as you speak, the program is live.
Okay.
Okay?
All
right then. Ladies and gentlemen, obviously I apologize to you earlier on because as I put out the notice, we were supposed to have 3 heavyweights. One of them was Mr. Kutubu Koroma, who is very relevant to this conversation that we are having tonight. The other was Mr. Kamara, who's just finished speaking, Mr. Mohammed Kamara, aka Supermed. Very eloquent speaker. We've got another eloquent speaker on the line right now as we speak. And there's one more, Mr. Victor Spain. I don't know whether he's still on the forum. Mr. Kutubu Koroma, welcome to the program then and now, sir. Hello? Hello? It seems that we've lost Mr. Kutubu Koroma, which is unfortunate. I'm going to try to see whether I can get him again on the line. I'm going to try to see whether I can get Kutubu on the line again. If we don't have him, then of course we will call it a day. But we're going to definitely try and get Mr. on the line.
Hello?
Mr. Koroma?
Hello?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yep.
Okay, good one. Ladies and gentlemen, I was just saying that one of the three guests that were meant to appear on the forum tonight via live link, but unfortunately that wasn't made possible due to technical issues, is Mr. Kutubu Koroma. We've heard the first speaker who was meant to appear live, another eloquent speaker who's just made his case. He's wiped the floor clean, Mr. Mohammed Kamara. Now we've got Mr. Kutubu Koroma on the line. Kutubu, just to begin, sir, the country, obviously, they go through another phase. Now we short by some explanation, by some definition, by some other definition, we lead to long history in our life. But to get a government, definitely when they try for fight this malaise, this cancerous thing what they call corruption. Kutubu, for the benefit of the public, will you please explain where do you stand with corruption and the fight against corruption, and who do they wage this war against corruption, please?
Then a universal question that everybody in this world knows they are against corruption. So I mean, number one, who want for society to be free of that, and the government don't decide say they go wage them. So we get for all the moral support. Because to me, corruption really now a very egregious human rights violation, where anybody or any government engage in criminal violate the human rights of citizens, they will not deny them, which is supposed to do. So any weapon for fight corruption, I mean for it. And this government not say that now one of the agenda they got. So as far as I'm concerned, and they gave me 100% support for that.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. And we needed you badly today because there are a couple of things going on. You are known within the social media circle for being very, very historical, providing perspective, analysis, context, and insight on issues. So between 1967 to date, we've had several commissions which you've spoken of vastly. Okay, the reason why I bring this up, Kutubu, is that there is an argument today that this particular commission of inquiry lacked the rule of evidence. So when we listen to the number one legal person in the country, in person of the Attorney General, say that none of the inquiry then they from 1967 to present date were held under existing legislation as in terms of regulatory, whether or not the Beckles Davis, the Justice Forrester, Algali, and Wilson, which you're very familiar with. Why should we be holding this particular one in terms of the rules of evidence, sir?
Well, if we roll back and rewind, the first commission of inquiry in 1962, Mr. Magai said a commission of inquiry to EU administration, where in fact this is one of the reasons that they find Islamic guys like MS Mustafa, John Khalifa Smart, they don't be prime minister because of the adverse findings where justice. So he called the profile. But now fast forward. The problem about APC, to be honest with you, then are people we full of what you call Orwellian double standard. Very Machiavellian indeed. And they always use it. Everybody that got is stupid. Everybody's stupid. That happened because the base, 80% of the base is composed of what you call warehouse of functional illiterates and sea of ignoramus. So in that regard, when you get that kind of a setting, they take everybody for granted. Then very, very well know, since all of them turned it to now, will not get anything like this. But what thing they really want to do, they want to create an atmosphere where obviously the commission of inquiry not going to take place. So they come up with this kind of convoluted understanding, undue obfuscation, just so for food the gullible ignoramus. But thank God, yesterday the Attorney General don't come stand firm. For the longest time, I don't criticize the Attorney General for inaction. But yesterday, don't come swinging. To a very large extent, the message now to guys like Dr. Blai Conte, that they aim the message at that, come what may, this commission will go ahead. regardless of whether we resort to moral equivalence, we resort to obfuscation or convoluted understanding. You guys are going to show up that this commission is required. You might not be careful. The only unfortunate part of it, when the Chief Justice go to that place yesterday, they go even make a statement. Ghana is the most ethical flaw this way I don't ever. The Chief Justice should never have been there. But as soon as of currency in Ngode, he should never have spoken. Never. These are the saddest days in the judicial history. Back to you.
So if the opposition, the one that we stand at the end of the stick right now, they raise issues as to moral equivalence, which is
no, not in any case. They're not standing again. No, president, I one thing that way, he always, once you don't say a president, you go back. Like I tell you, the only reason why they do this, because by this, I don't actually know, so there is great chance that, the city, well, for law back to they don't even expect this, that they go first. This, I can tell you, this was never, because they were so cocksure that they were coming to the election. So what they do, they not even position for this. But in logic, you know what you call logic of syllogism. You get for me 50% and a chance for possibility for let something happen, 50% for letting happen. But what they do, they make 100% say this thing will happen. They know that, and they tell you for sure. They know so what it is, and they don't get no leg, they don't get any sanity because they are very partisan. In fact, it is more commissions to require past anybody. Don't agree to that lady, Laura Marcus Jones, you don't bring that up. Lindsay Nylander, you don't bring that up. Then, they don't even go back to the Kutubu Commission. Then we will go back again to the Market Commission. All of it here, so nobody. They do, and just because they figure say, then go resort to the commission and then report again. I tell you, for the first time, the Attorney General don't come swinging at the, say that with or without, this commission will go ahead. That might be alpha and omega of the argument as well.
Yeah, but Kutubu, most of the accusation, we don't have, anything like a tangible proof. Now, much more concerned to conjecture, because no studies have been commissioned for proof, say, well, this is what APC were thinking, other than the circumstances. And I believe, say, that's what we're looking at, probability, that APC be the look at things, in this direction or in this way, but somehow it falls short. But nothing has been commissioned, no studies, nothing peer-reviewed for us to come to a logical conclusion for, say, definitely this is it. So that's, really not really the case. But in terms of the Constitution, Mr. Koroma, there is a lot being said, and the APC obviously stand at the end of the stick. So you go expect them for try for fact to tell for say this commission, is being unfair, is being unbiased to us. The question I want to ask you, because as we all see the president speak barely 2 days ago, when he talked about affirming, a peaceful democratic war on corruption, and the president appear in voice, in face, in facial expression so steely, where he say the war on corruption is unstoppable, unmistakable, and winnable. Now, owing to your position over the many, many years, for once, you're just directly, Mr. Koroma, you get faith in waiting the president pronounced, just barely 48 hours ago, that the war on corruption is unstoppable, unmistakable, and winnable?
Well, the man already laid out the template, and like we say, they not already put the machinery into motion for fight this, and I tell God, thank you. And the possible 3 people the way they win. One of them, like they're already talking things all about say, the lizard that jumps from Ioko tree to the ground on hot. We praise himself if no man does. One of them, at the praise Mr. say, now out of the recommendation where I make, nine bring up, that Justice William Atuguba from Ghana, and the praise Mr. for that. Dr. Bankole Thompson was a teacher of mine in Adwana Prince of Free School. I know technology for me, a man of unassailable integrity. Amen. just like what they tell you, hopefully the findings of this commission and the recommendation they make and the measures the way they will put in place will either make we begin fight corruption and we begin make sure we understand there are unintended consequences when you misuse and abuse the office. There are unintended consequences. Now the roadmap that the president makes so. That's the roadmap. Nothing like president. Once you don't say president, he always they serve as a guide to people. Them. John Lepe Edmond Burke, the great philosopher, said, he said in one day when they remember history, he said they will always repeat the same mistake. Once they belong to this commissioner, God make they do their work properly, they really lay out to the citizens waiting actually happen, how people they mismanage the fabric of the society in that way then they bring the appropriate measures very stiff measures against violators next time other people then go think twice. So in fact in that direction, the president told us that they find that the future now they delay as to when people they need governors, what is going to be expected of them, how for carry themselves. That's what it's there for talk.
Yeah, again, just for take you back to the Attorney General, where you rightfully mentioned, because not to you one game he criticized them as possible when they talk. Then suddenly when he talk, she spoke so passionately that it shocked, the many, and certainly not the few. She went on to say, criticize the people of the Bar Association, in which there were instruments back in 2009 and 2010. In 2009, I believe not just the showers in commission, and then you can get the constitutional instrument number 1 of 2009, and I believe say Dana being Justice Bankole Thompson. None of these, the Bar Association went for criticize. So therefore, the Attorney General come up hard on the present corps of Bar Association lawyer then Nasigalio. Say, they not take steps, for have the rules of court committee then. Why do they take steps of having the rules of court committee now? Could you weigh on this, please, Kutubu?
Well, me go even go further than what we go. Me go accuse of being fundamentally the very dishonest, morally they're bankrupt, ethically they're very flawed. The likes of those guys that within the Bar Association, then at the pain that make the country don't go down, that the abyss. Because one, a very selective outrage, not a part. Inside this Bar Association, when you get portfolio of violations of the constitutional rights of the citizen, where are they? Then guys, they don't go law school enough for let them know of what they call habeas corpus. When people are in jail, when an escoma be not saying they go to jail, no charges have been pressed against people. They don't do the long one. They know they go law school for let law school tell and say, law, you can put in that kind of motion according to the they know what they go in. Or they know one day go law school for let law school tell and say, you get what you call the friend of the court brief. You know why they do that? Whose law school the guy they go? But that aside, the guys are very dishonest. The guys are the politicians. They just use the bar. The Bar Association or the law of the law, now the ethical foundation and the moral compass for any country we practice on the rule of law. The lawyers say that they don't place that for me. The laws are always solved, but when I decide for selective, that might go happen. So now the selective interpretation, and now they think innocence and oh now we're proper, this will happen. Fine, but guys, where are you? Violations upon violations, upon violations. Where are you guys? Are you guys suffering from astigmatism? Una eyes saw they see, or una yes deaf? What are you telling them? So like I say, the Attorney General was very soft on them. She was very soft. We would have gone further than that, actually. Even question how some of the past the Bar Association.
The Attorney General also go on for make a submission during that statement, that short statement they will make. Will be very short but very powerful, again, a very, very strong meaning, which is she go on for say that it's disingenuous for these lawyers, the way we just talk about the Bar Association, for base any legal argument in respect of instruments 64, 65, 67, which I believe say you're familiar with, that purports to claim that they have, done some kind of violations, talking about the present time, where the other side they claim. Would you agree with that?
Well, I mean, we say, let me get standing. They like what you call them, they like locus. That's what we could say. They don't even get standing there. That's what we could dismiss them.
Right. Pamela Williams, I just want to congratulate you for joining the channel. Brother Frederick Coy, Sister Khadija Tu, Saidi Bar, Francis Amidou, Blango, all the way from Australia. How are you, sir? I hope all is well. You're coming up soon on the channel and tell us what Australia is like, obviously. And I want to apologize to the general panel. We'll be supposed to forget Kutubu Koroma Wede on the line right now as we speak for appear in terms of a video link along with Mr. Kamara, Mohammed Kamara, aka Superman, we speak earlier on. Very eloquent speakers, and Mr. Victor Spade. 3 people that were diametrically opposed, if you can understand, because 3 people that were diametrically opposed, especially so in the conflagration where we. But as we speak now, I promise you to say this Sunday, without fail, with God willing, we go bring them 3 people there back, and we go bring them through video links so we go see them for ourselves. Right now, as we speak, ladies and gentlemen, this is the then and now, and we get Mr. Kutubu Koroma of social media fame right now on the channel, speaking to us on the then and now. Kutubu, the president, I repeat, the president of the Republic, His Excellency retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio, said that we must win the fight against corruption. We must win the fight against corruption. Are there any advices from you on how to win the fight against corruption?
Well, when the president talks, we must remember this is not a collective effort, not only the administration. Luckily, now before the can so a lady coming from Philadelphia, what did he do? He go home, you want a passport. Where he go, they tell her go one side the money. Okay? When the lady pay the money, the receipt where he gets, it don't reflect that. Don't reflect that. Okay, rumble. What you do now, he tap on. Well, when you do things like that, he pay about 1 million, something like that, or whatever did the money, but they not get the receipt. They not get the amount you see. If I get it, they send that to me so that we will bring up our program viewers who don't get the document we bring up. What he do? Now, yeah, he can't complain to me. The way they feel, like quite behold that receipt, he can't go to the authorities right away. Right away that day, they can't go. He goes to say, now this I pay, now this time they give me. But as long as we condone it, we're not able to fight the corruption. Not only the government is fighting, me and you for also joining the effort, a collective effort. And when we side, people supposed to do things then, for them, it costs now so they job call them, now so this happen. And then they go outside and begin to ask for any kind of thing for give them for putting on the pot. No, this stuff. And then we insist that they do the right when they know we turn them over. Now, so we fight corruption. So not only the government, so it's going to be a war where everybody gets to be involved. All and sundry. That's the only way that. So I don't give that as a small example no more. So if the president get for succeed, we all get for join up. But you don't go there, you begin to give bribes, wait, begin to give bribes, and no. What you do, you encourage them, you induce them. So we'll never be able to fight corruption. He will take the moral leadership. He will make sure that members in administration and the actions they obtain the constitutional thinking of the country. They make sure say he set example of people there. He makes sure say you don't get no secret counsel. Anybody, information say they understand, say the job they hold, not to define rights. They don't get to say because they are the best, the smartest or whatever it is. Neither not to circumstantial freedom. Now an honor and privilege with fellow citizens put panel. So when they betray their trust and confidence, they are going to be held accountable. It's just as simple as that, sir.
Just a quick read from the panel. Sister Pamela Williams, of course, made us a very good contribution, which I want to read for the rest of the forum. I am totally for the war against corruption. And I had defending the Sierra Leonean way they against. So if they against, why? Because I believe that everybody they for the war against corruption. I think some people then complain na procedural impropriety as they call it, the principles of the approach. Pamela, I'm totally for the war against corruption as long as it is conducted fairly. It is sickening to see how selfish some of these politicians can be. The system of corruption infuriates me because these selfish politicians ignore the needs of the common people and so forth and so on. Absolutely spot on, Sister Pamela. Absolutely spot on. Back to Brother Kutubu, Mr. Koroma. Okay. The president make a statement where he appear for take a swipe at the previous leadership. He say a near absence of steely determination to draw a line once and for all, which he appear like say he want do, because when you watch in body language, when you look at him as a whole, just send a message. Can I call you back later? Now somebody they try to make some contribution right now, but we go listen to Kutubu. Mr. Bangali, we could let for a read from you very much, but Mr. Kutubu just to develop some serious arguments right now. So once he's done, we will give you the last chance, for close the program. I hope you're hearing that, my brother. So, Mr. Kutubu, I mean, just to say, the president appear for take swipe at the former government, where he say there was a near absence of steely determination. And when you talk about the steely determination, in your opinion, when I take a look at when he been making pronouncement, he appear for be steely. In voice, he have been very powerful and strong. Again, it appeared like there was frustration on top of determination for get this thing done. The lip services, sham trial is talking about the past now, and this is the current president. Reinstatement. So there were lip services, sham trial, reinstatement between 2007 and 2018 of officials who were accused of XYZ corruption, but later on reinstated into public positions. What's your take on that, Kutubu?
Well, 100% in agreement with the presidency. As a matter of fact, one even submit that everything will be happening under and by Koroma and Joseph Assad. For example, people were involved in corruption. I'm going to take a guy like Edmond Koroma from Nassit. What you do? You order with a plum job, you go make a financial sector. And that's just one example. So in other words, when you engage in corruption, instead of they discipline you, what you do, it reward you. It take it with a bigger job for say, in fact, but by you not being corrupt, that not could even help the country. Can also say it's on record as saying that in your place where corruption not there, you not like there at all. And when we say corruption, they elect. They get a ministry, they say no, you not get that for the top case. When they get Minister of Works, he was elected. He was very euphoric because corruption. These are the things said. So, but by God in power, by God in your power, God go gives leader the courage of conviction and moral fortitude for confront the cancer and the cankerworm. We don't eat deep into the fabric of society. We don't move from the pedestal of grace within the abyss of irrelevance. So that's the answer.
Yeah, Kutubu, this is one final question to you. I mean, I've got two questions for you before we part company tonight. But just before I pose these two questions, I want to apologize to you because there were arrangements for you to appear by a special link tonight so that the guests will able to see you along with two other people in which whom the conversation might have been different and very, very interesting by many respects. But at the plan, for bringing her back on Sunday, and we will talk about this in camera. Okay? Kutubu, this is serious.
Yes,
in terms of where we are now with this fight against corruption, we know exactly what in go on. This president appear for have a steely determination, say, I will fight this corruption at any cost. It has to be fought, and in fact, they don't put things then into place. And the All People's Congress APC are saying that they will not subject themselves to a court that they find or a commission that they find to be illegitimate. What do you think will be the outcome of this situation or scenario?
Well, not if we talk about the outcome.
We said.
Oh. Okay, I don't know if we talk about the outcome, but what we need for a lecture with what I said, because they can be telling you earlier, the reason why they do that here, they know say the base, like I talk 80% of them were a house of functional illiteracy, a sea of ignorance. So what do? Then they go out deliberately for misleading. This is very simple. The Attorney General don't draw the line. The President don't know. When they say, as for need to understand it now, that this commission will come, it come by an act of parliament. Anyhow, somebody try for resort to moral equivalence, whether it is it come by an act of parliament. And parliament now the highest legislative body that's the corner, the law-making body that the country. So this commission, you get the instruments, you get the authority, you get standing. Now, let me move to the next thing. When they send a subpoena to you, say appear in a court, wait, hold on. Now, disrespect of the country as a whole. Now, here are the unintended consequences. And then there's I do the same. This question we have here, I will not address them talk show. And here's what I will tell it. And I hope so God will make you disseminate this thing away, don't put on a tape body. When they send for the first one they established there, nobody I don't know the salon where they above what we call the supreme law of salon. Nobody, neither nobody in office nor they where they above that. We are a nation of law where they stand on the fundamental edifice of the constitutional law. When you agree for something, that make record out. When they send you a subpoena, you don't show up. You don't only disrespect the court, but you don't disrespect the whole country. Now, no administration where what is sort will allow hoodlums them, thugs for injecting the moral in other work. They will deal with them very firmly to the fullest. That I can tell you. Again, I remind you of this, so you take people that so they don't know. This is not a foreign policy they come inside. God forbid, the guys say one if you say they don't do, they will challenge the government. God forbid, they say that they resort to arms. I just remind them very quickly again. One, Salon, a member of ECOWAS, we get a protocol open on site. The president can invite foreign troops for camp. Are there any precedent to this? Yes. Some of you remember history will remind APC, they say, they don't forget to a tussle between Brigadier John Bangura in the and Spike Ouma and Shaka Stevens. They be sent a Guinea for letting bring foreign troops and foreign troops in the deal because that's that way. So the government of the day get all the instruments there at their disposal, all of them. So anybody will say you challenge the government, you only did at your risk. So that talk when they talk, so I've lost talk and they are showing that. As a matter of fact, even before they asked my own letter, he talk about cooperation with them because they don't get a choice. They don't get a choice there. Once they send a subpoena to you, oh man, however you look at it, you go. When you don't go Safu, you go the other way.
All right.
It's just as simple.
All right.
It's just as simple. No, yes,
I'm a respecter of the law, Kutubu. Hopefully it doesn't descend to that. The analogy around, the president holds this vast power, and sometimes it's not about the power, it's the ability to win minds. I've been in countries before in which they had bilateral cooperation with other countries that in a case of unrest, they can call on those foreign governments to deploy their soldiers, and it quickly descended into something else. And in the end, it's the people that suffer. So hopefully we don't come to that. The question here for you, the question here for you, Mr. Koroma, is, with all what you've said, do you think that APC, the All People's Congress, has got an iota of case here, because it appeared, at least to some school of thought, that the APC not deny the commission of inquiry, they do accept it, but what they are saying is, again, it comes down to these rules of evidence and something where you see 2 or 3 times now, moral equivalence. Are you saying that moral equivalence does not count? If you stand accused, just submit and succumb? Is that what you're saying, sir?
No, for Mr. Koma, no, maybe it's very clear. People are confusing. No, we can agree with this, okay? Remember, nobody know the on criminal trial. Remember this. And law for America, APC is not on trial. No, make that very clear. APC is not on trial. And the people they wait for Faith Commission of Inquiry, not the face waiting the consumer the face. The consumer indirectly that a criminal case they follow, not they follow. Yeah, the Commission of Inquiry, now a body where they said for fact find something, they want to look into something. Then they find out which may not be. When they not establish that, they will move to the next stage. There are 2 aspects to this. Let's assume A, they find some people that guilty of egregious criminal violations. The committee can recommend, the commission can recommend criminal sanction.
Well, of course, so that's what you've just said, Ekutubu. That's what it boils down to. And this could be the fear that others are seeing, here down the pipeline, because you've just made a contradiction, a bold contradiction there, that the commission of inquiry is not after this. That's not what they are after. But when you develop the case, you just arrive at that there's a potential.
Yes, you make a recommendation.
Yeah.
You remember that in a recommendation they make.
Yeah, well, of course, but Kutubu, the recommendation that they will make eventually, the issue here is you've ruled out any criminality. You've said it boldly that they are not after this, they're not going to do this. But equally, you say that they will make recommendation, and the recommendation, you might just turn up because according to you again, which you're absolutely right, it's 2-phase. So the commission, they make recommendation. That recommendation, when they make to a body, that body then they decide. Do you know what the body is going to decide before you arrive at your conclusions?
Sir, you don't go back to this year. All this, like you say, this moral equivalence here, like young people, they know what this commission require. And they can say APC also be not go commission of inquiry, not go to. Now, the commission of inquiry is a fact-finding mission into things the way people that say people know, commit some wrongs in either financial wrongs or anything. Now the commission is going to determine whether it be of where this thing happen. Then they make recommendations. We go back to like in 67, when we get that commission of inquiry, Foster, Biokubet, Percy Davis, Dove, Edwin, but no, really to Foster, when I be hard, and when I similar to this, as Justice Foster, they may go along, they begin to discover and they think they will not right. The first victim of that place was Michael Callon. Michael Callon had a green automatic massive, a green one WR444. Where he not able to satisfy the commission of inquiry, who say pull up, Justice Foster order say if you turn that motorcar over to transport department, now go to number 2. Kanebue also not be able to account for some money. Kanebue was given for 24 hours for pay that money right away. Albert Magai, everybody be no say na he was na God to Albert whoever be not day for the longest time. Waiting Albert Magai, he bill and tennis court. The Foster Commission come up with the conclusion say that tennis court will be like government money take. So what he do? He lost in house. He house to a maternity hospital for women. SFPP had an office. The commission say that office where they get so, where they call unity, that they call that. Now government money, what they do, they turn it to a city council. Like again, at the argue this now APC, they only left for it and they take on both ends. The whole thing, the alpha and the omega of this argument is they just don't want a commission of inquiry because it will expose massive corruption. That's the only reason they're going to do. If me not say the unclean, if I not dog behind the side plazas, I know they pay free, so let them go spend behind for see if I dog behind it.
Okay, good to go. Okay. That's a general presumption. Again, in the absence of guilt, after, you've been proven that you're guilty, then of course you stand to be innocent. Just quickly, we don't run out of time. What I want to let you do, Kutubu, not forget, say we did on Sunday, this one we go get for work on properly. I just want to let you tell we, the general public, what is it was there in terms of legal jurisprudence, like the Biokubet Commission, and where you can talk about the legal sanctity of the state there, that we miss now, which hopefully if we begin now, we will try to avoid the present. And lastly, do you have any optimism in the process where they ongo now, that finally corruption will be arrested, and this nation will finally bear in once more, and then we will become that baking on top of the mountain, the anthems of West Africa or for Africa as a whole.
Right. Like give me answer to corruption, okay?
Yeah.
Me always believe, I'm glad we don't win this, and I hope some listeners will hear this. We don't need an anti-corruption commission anywhere. We don't need that. We don't need a commission of inquiry. We don't need that. You know, to need.
No.
For now, we always stay on top of corruption. Like 2 things we need. 2. 1, and every day we tell the government, remove restrictions on the press. They'll get freedom of press. Free people for job.
Yeah, I'm not cut you off, but if you unfortunately not been watching last week's program, but what you understand highlights the precedent in policy them, in program them where you want for initiate. One of them now for repeal the libel law against the same thing where you talk about. So that day in the office.
Good. When they not pull them, the President Thomas Jefferson say, he said he would prefer for living in a country we not get government, but people they free for job. You get place that for living in a country where you get government or not get that. Now for fast forward the talk, we don't need an anti-corruption commission. We don't need the commission. We to need a very strong justice department with very aggressive criminal prosecutors every day. And fighting corruption or fighting crime, so how they call it, now 24/7. Every day we get for fight, corruption. We get for fight crime. Every day, 24/7. We know for which day the president you done. When you don't time done, he come on an office to say, no, set up commission required. Oh no, that is wrong. Some of it from day one. We don't believe in this here. I don't believe in that. What you need a very aggressive justice department with aggressive criminal prosecutors and the press. You see this country also? Oh, they will continue for blessed America. When you decide for go do something under the table, you are lying out. Say when they say tango, not to tango, now one God. The exposure. How did they bring you to the land? How did they make you think twice? But yanda, if you go tell Abbas, they actually come up Abbas Mundu. If anybody na salute challenge on the go, now Abbas Mundu sit down, he order them to go block somebody in a jail.
Well, again, Kutubu, we've come to the end of this program, but 2 things I want to highlight to you quickly in terms of the last statement that we just made. With the greatest of America, you still get Donald Trump at the White House, a man known for in criminal intent, them tied to the underworld and the mafia, and etc. Okay. He is running the biggest, greatest, most powerful country in the world. And when you come back home again, in as much as you say you have faith, that's why I ask you in the system. You did mention somebody who happened to be the Speaker of the House, in which the President reposed confidence in and in the monitor the House in his behalf. So how is this fight against corruption? It's difficult for talk. I appreciate the president in position, here for try for kill corruption, because like everybody else, I'm against corruption. But you see, when you begin to develop the argument as clever as you are, this is where we end.
Oh, we develop it. Okay, it's very simple. What are they blame again? We don't get the parliament. We get the building, but we don't get the parliament. We get the building, we don't get the parliament.
Yeah.
Me and you again. Why people like always? Why you like this kind of a juxtaposition here? So you already juxtapose this year as oh yes. Me believe so when I did a place, when I see the correcting and the extrapolate them, and the extrapolate the correcting and fix them. It's very simple. You then know when they lock the government not so. I mean they know so.
Oh yeah, of course, I follow. But you don't talk about this before. They follow. I'm quite good, yeah, with geopolitics. I'm quite comfortable with geopolitics. Any day.
You saw the parliament you don't so?
Yeah.
You saw the parliament you don't so?
Yeah.
Fine. We need people like Montesquieu and John Locke. They may not talk, say, one man get power tomorrow, he will become correspondingly, he will get from no shape power. Unfortunately, we get a parliament that's alone. We know to parliament are just a building where they exist. Nobody challenges the administrator.
All right, Kutubu. I will accept that, and I agree with you. I agree with you on that. But the only reason why I barge in is because of time, and we will reserve that for another day conversation, which will be just between me and you. And hopefully, this coming Sunday, we will try for talk again about this. This is quite important, and there are many things in the chat room. For let we follow, we miss out what we promise the people and forgive them. But hopefully, people this Sunday, we will try not for miss out. It's always great, you sir.
Almost o'clock the Sunday.
I will call you, and probably it will be 1 hour less than this time, because we'll be promised 9 o'clock, or maybe it will be like 8 o'clock. Yeah.
No problem, boss. No problem.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Really appreciate that, sir.
Yeah, I must send it to me.
Yeah, definitely will do. Yeah, this is our legacy, Kutubu, and I'm happy for sending that to you.
Thank you, sir.
All right then. Have a good night, brother.
All right, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay then. Bye bye. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was the voice there of Kutubu Koroma. Very central, very pertinent to this talk. Previously, the last speaker was Mr. Mohammed Kamara, very eloquent speaker, and he gets in your position. And this na in your straight. I will call Mr. Bangali Mansarewe call earlier on and try for again the last word, maybe 5 or 8 minutes for wrap up this program. But this program has been a good program as usual. Always they do well with them. And let we see whose contribution way Mr. Bangali get for make, hopefully. And then we will end the program there.
Welcome to the EE voicemail. I'm sorry for the...
But let we not forget, we country today at a critical stage. Okay? Really, really difficult stage. This is not laughable. This is not funny. There is one side which is determined for change the status quo in the country, for change the business as usual, if you will like, corruption as usual, which is a good thing which every Sierra Leonean embrace. The process is what people are kind of scared about, because the other side they say this is difficult for us, and the rest of it, and the ordinary people they look at, well, what is going to happen? What is going to happen? Yeah, thank you very much, Sister Aminata Kamara. Yeah, as usual. Thanks for tuning in, my sister. And please make sure you share the video to your network. And please come back again Sunday where we go deliberate on this. This is critical. The president talked about national security, and that's exactly what we're talking about here, national security, because we're all concerned. Because outside other people and they go and challenge. It's an issue of national security. But this is the last word. Papa President, please understand, saying that the Kumbra, it's difficult, okay? We need to ask you for badge down, or we just ask you for exercise restraint, okay? Because you get the apparatuses and you can act, but not let people push you to the brink. Because now that seems for the happening that people want to test you and you get the potential. When I see you speak yesterday, you determine that what you want will happen. Because no president will ever do this. For sit down other person dictate the terms and conditions to them. Because of course, that's a position of weakness. You don't want to look weak. Neither will anybody else who will have been in your position. So that's quite understandable. But in terms of all of this, Mr. President, we ask you for please exercise restraint. Let me keep the union together. I read you, try for memorize them word for word. All what you put inside it being so quite important, which is about the sanctity of the state, keeping the state together. That you're not a president. Shortly after you win the election, you say you're not a president of one side of Sierra Leone, neither one tribe or a group of tribes, but for the entire Sierra Leone and the entire Sierra Leonean population. That's what you were elected president for. We want for you to keep to that spirit today. Let we find way how we go resolve this issue so that the end goal where some people that they look for eventually will not happen. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to end this program. It's been a brilliant program so far. As usual, on Sunday we will come again and talk about serious issues of the state. It's been a great run. And for me, my name Prince Emil Kroma, una producer, una broadcaster, una host and presenter. I want to say good night. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you very much. Josephine Saidu, Dr. Josephine Saidu, welcome to the program. Not even welcome, good night to the program. You've just signed in on late, but I'm happy to see that you sign on. Thanks for signing on. We're back again on Sunday, same place, same time. Please don't forget to tune in. I'm going to have you soon for an interview.
There's nothing to quit, there's nothing to quit. 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 There's nothing to quit.